our special meeting tonight, which is April 28, 2022. Have roll call, please.
Mr. Higgins?
Yes.
Are here. Mrs. And Mrs. Macklin.
Yeah. Will we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, our meeting is very short tonight, so we thank you all for coming out. So the item number 2.01 is our personnel item. Motion to approve the personnel item as presented, and that approval is for the appointment and employment contract of Dr. Cassandra Johnson as interim superintendent, which is effective August 1st, 2022 through July 31st, 2024. You can find that in Exhibit B-EC. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve as presented.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved by Ms. Birch and second by Ms. Macklin. Is there any discussion, board? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mrs. Macklin?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Higgins?
Yes.
Mrs. Boynton?
Yes, motion passed 5-0. Happy we got that contract done, Dr. Johnson. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report, items 3.01, 3.02, and 3.03. Dr. Johnson?
Good evening, Board President, Vice President, and Board members. First, again, I would like to thank you for the opportunity under 2.01. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. Under Exhibit 3, as you stated, I bring before you 3 of these items. The first one being under administrative personnel. We have had the pleasure and the honor of working with Ms. Gowing under the curriculum department. And now, in our most needed time over the past several months, she stepped up to the plate to support our students at Bedford High School. And therefore, it was recommended that she continue to serve in that capacity effective August 1st of 2022, by which she first would have to resign from her current position before she could be recommended for the next position. Under that second piece, I'm not sure if Mr. Parkinson would like to speak to the next individual here.
Dr. Johnson, I would really, really love to talk, but my speaking voice is absolutely horrible.
All right.
I have a bad head cold, but Tabby knows. I've spoken with Tabby. Tabby will do a phenomenal job. I'm really, really looking forward to her joining the office.
And we are too excited as well to have Tabby back, by which recommending her before the board to serve in the capacity of assistant treasurer.
Could I have a motion, please, to approve the administrative contract as presented?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
It has been moved by Ms. Atkins and has been seconded by Ms. Birch. Is there any discussion on this contract, Ms. Gilling and Bertak? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Higgins?
Yes.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mrs. Macklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Boynton?
Yes. Motion passed 5-0. We welcome you, and Dr. Johnson.
Yes, at this time, I didn't know if either of the now board approved employees under these positions would like to have a word.
I just thank the board for approving this and giving me the opportunity, and I look forward to being back in Bedford.
And who do you have with you?
My husband, Philip Armstrong.
I'd like to thank the board as well, Dr. Johnson and my team here. It's truly an honor to be accepted into this role, and I'm really excited, so thank you.
Again, congratulations. Under 3.02, we are with much excitement in regards to the collaboration with the Bedford Education Association. We were able to come to an agreement for the contract that we are presenting before you.
All right. I would like to have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding, which is MOU between the Board of Education and the Bedford Education Association to extend the collective bargaining agreement that will be in effect between the board and BEA pursuant to the terms and conditions contained in the MOU, which is Exhibit B-1. Could I have a motion, please, to approve?
Motion to approve.
Have a second, please?
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Lifford and second by Mr. Atkins. Akins. I'm so sorry, Mr. Akins. I have a colleague, we have the same names, Akins and Atkins, I'm sorry. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Lippert,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Mrs. Macklin,
Yes.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mrs. Boynton.
Yes. Motion passed 5-0. We're so happy that we have reached this agreement with BEA. Thanks to everyone that was a part in making this happen so soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Under 3.03, I just ask for a little bit of patience as I read through this. This item here, this next item on the agenda, it is my recommendation, to reduce our administrative staff by abolishing certain non-bargaining and unit administrative positions and suspending the contracts of the individuals holding these positions. Decisions like this are never easy. So without that being stated, I've said, the day that it becomes easy, then this field probably is not for me. We always have to take that in consideration, those that it impact. But at this time, I am coming before you based upon our experiences in the decrease in enrollment. I think that's kind of obvious over the past several years. We can look at, the size of our high school, us, not needing that South House anymore. But due to the experiencing of having a decrease in enrollment in the district, certain financial conditions that are necessary for us to be fiscally responsible over the next couple of years, trying to keep us where we need to be in the long term in terms of those financial conditions affecting the district. We are also reorganizing and consolidating administrative functions, leading to the abolishment of certain positions. Thus, I believe it is necessary and in the best interest of the district that the positions of Assistant Superintendent, Special Education Director, Assistant Director of Student Services and School Climate, Director of Curriculum and Instruction and Director of Operations, Director of Student Pupil Personnel Services be abolished, and the contracts of employment applicable to these positions should be suspended effective July 31st, 2022.
All right. The item that was mentioned by Dr. Johnson, to reduce the administrative staff by administrative positions and suspending the contract of the individuals holding those positions. Dr. Johnson indicated she is recommending that it is necessary and in the best interest of the district for reasons including a decrease in the district's enrollment and or financial conditions and or the reorganization and or the consolidation of administrative functioning leading to the abolishment of positions, that the positions of Assistant Superintendent, Special Education Director, Assistant Director of Student Services and School Climate, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Director of Operations, and Director of Student Pupil Services be abolished, and the contracts of employment applicable to these positions should be suspended effective July 31st, 2022. Unless any board member would like to discuss further, do we have a motion to vote upon Exhibit S-1, the resolution to reduce administrative staff by abolishing certain administrative non-bargaining unit positions and suspending the applicable employment contracts of the individuals currently holding these positions?
I move to vote upon Exhibit S1, the resolution to reduce administrative staff by abolishing certain administrative non-bargaining unit positions and suspending the applicable employment contracts of the individuals currently holding the positions.
May I have a second, please?
A second.
It has been moved by Ms. Birch and second by Mr. Lifford. Do we have any questions, any discussions about this recommendation? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mr. Lifford,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Mrs. Macklin,
Yes.
Mrs. Boynton.
Yes, motion passed 5-0.
Under the next portion of this, we have to address the restructuring of this based upon the fact that these positions will be abolished or combined. The next item on the agenda is my recommendation to restructure and or consolidate such administrative functions by the creation of Executive Director of Operations, Executive Director of School and Community Relations, Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion positions. I am recommending that it is necessary and in the best operational interest of the district and to implement the educational system and programs of learning established by the board to restructure and abolish positions and create 4 administrative non-bargaining unit positions to be titled Executive Director of Operations, Executive Director of Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion, and Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of School and Community Relations.
Hearing that recommendation on restructuring by Dr. Johnson, she's recommending to restructure or consolidate administrative functions by the creation of Executive Director of Operations, Executive Director of School and Community Relations, Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion positions. Dr. Johnson indicated that she is recommending that it is necessary and in the best operational and instructional interests of the district to restructure and abolish administrative positions and create 4 administrative non-bargaining unit positions to be titled Executive Director of Operations, Executive Director of Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion, Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of School and Community Relations. Unless any board would like to discuss this further, do we have a motion to vote upon Exhibit S-2, the resolution to restructure and or consolidate administrative functions by the creation of Executive Director of Operations, Executive Director of School and Community Relations, Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion positions?
I move to vote upon Exhibit S-2, the resolution to restructure and or consolidate administrative functions by the creation of Executive Director of Operations, Executive Director of School and Community Relations, Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion positions.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Lifford and second by Mrs. Birch. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is moved and second to vote upon Exhibit S-2, the resolution to restructure and consolidate administrative functions by the creation of these positions, which are the Executive Director of Operations and the Executive Director of School and Community Relations, the Executive Director of Academic Achievement, and Executive Director of the Human Capital, Equity, and Inclusion position. Would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Lickford,
Yes.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Mrs. Macklin,
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Board.
The last part of this, by which there is an exhibit which displays the organizational chart in alignment to the reorganization.
All right. Can I have a motion to vote upon the recommendation for revisions to the organization chart as presented in Exhibit S3? That's just me. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by Ms. Birch and seconded by Ms. Akins. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mr. Akins,
Yes.
Mr. Lickford,
Yes.
Mrs. Macklin,
Yes.
Mrs. Boynton.
Yes. Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, we thank you, Board, and we thank you, audience, for being here tonight, and our community members and everyone. I did tell you that the meeting would be short, short with a lot of reading. We thank you for coming out. We look forward to seeing all of you on next week at our regular board meeting, where we will have audience participation and a lot of other things to discuss. We are moving forward on so many issues for the end of this school year. So we appreciate your patience, we appreciate your support, and let's just keep it moving. We are going into executive session at 5:17 p.m. Thank you. Have a good evening.